It was just this morning. My dad called me because he got a text about something, about some package or
It was
something.
delivered. Click here on the
Click here.
link.
Yeah. And luckily he called me before anything happened. Oh, thank goodness.
This is just one of the many, many examples of the things that our parents are facing. And we wanted to talk to Sara Hunt, who is an estate planning attorney, but also very passionate about helping to protect seniors from scams because it is such a common occurrence, Sara.
Yes, it is. There are so many reasons that seniors make really good targets. One is that they have more savings. They're likely to have a home. They're likely to have good credit, and they're also more likely to pick up the phone.
Yeah.
When they do pick up the phone, they're more polite and they're more trusting. So this makes them vulnerable, and
really makes them more susceptible to being a target of a scam. And I think too, some of the technology, like what Mike was mentioning, the text that comes in that says, hey, click here, you've got a package. Or my mom gets emails all the time that says, hey, this is just a confirmation of your PayPal account, which she doesn't have, that's been charged $700 for something. Click here if you don't agree.
Yeah, they're just bombarded. I was talking to a 74-year-old man the other day who said that probably in the last 3 months, he's blocked over 400 calls from various scammers. Wow. So it's just intense, and it's going to keep getting intense because of the aging population.
Yeah.
So. And I think some of the challenges too, and I don't know if you see this, Sara, but just the fact that, sometimes our parents are at home by themselves and, somebody calls and it's somebody to talk to. And so they're so savvy. These scammers are so savvy at making them probably feel needed, or I don't know, there's got to be some crazy psychology that they use to really, and I've tried to tell that to my mom too, that, these people, as I'm trying to give her ideas of, she feels terrible to hang up on them, but I'm like, hang up on them. But I think that, they do that. I try to remind her that they're really good at being deceptive, and they're really, they know what they're doing. And that's why that, don't feel, because I think she feels bad sometimes.
Well, it's like there's a gullible list. Your mom's on it, and there's a lot of other people.
Or a sucker list.
Yeah, they're embarrassed because, if you imply that they can't take care of themselves, that's a threat to their independence.
Sure.
And so then they go into defensive mode and don't tell you anything.
Yeah.
So I think it sounds like it's really important to have that kind of open communication that kind of says like, hey, mom, it's not your fault, but here are some things that we can do. Because, I've shared with you previously that, we've gone down this road many times, unfortunately, with my mom. And she has been,
we've tried to teach your mom, and we've taught my dad that if you get a text, if you get an email, something like that, ignore it, forward it to us, call us, something like that.
Don't click on a link.
Don't click on anything. But what else can we do? Now, even before they click on anything, what else can we do to prevent this from happening?
Well, the best prevention is a conversation. There's no question about that. And you've got to educate them on the various types of scams to look for. So there are many. They're online. They're in fake TV and radio ads. They're on the phone. So it's coming at them from all directions. And so you have to share with them what to look for.
So let's talk about that, because I think that it used to be, I don't know how many years ago, it was sort of the African prince email that was saying, hey, if you can wire me money, then I have this fortune that I'll share with you, and those kinds of things. And it was a pretty email, and it was usually in broken English, or it just wasn't, it raised a lot of red flags, right, if you read it. But I feel like they've gotten a lot savvier. So let's talk about what some of those kinds of scams are. I know personally we've dealt with gift card scams where they try to tell you that they'll give you the money to buy gift cards that for some reason they're not able to go buy them, which should be a red flag, right? But they can't buy them. But if you could just buy them the gift cards, they'll give you the money. And what they do then is they you go to the store, you buy the gift cards, you give them the codes. So now the gift cards have been used. And what at least happened in our situation is they did transfer money into her account. So it made it look like it, but they had taken it from her savings account and moved it to her checking account. So when she checked the balance, she saw that there was money put into the checking account, but it was her own money.
Yeah.
So that was one. We've had people that want to fix her computers and they somehow then
got into her computer.
They caused a lot of problems, created a PayPal account in her name. She doesn't even know what it is, you know? So those are a couple. I'm trying to think of, well, besides the many donations.
But who else can we talk to? Because Kim has her mom's banker on her side. So if something happens, but are there other people to talk to besides an attorney like you?
So I would recommend that you go on the FBI website because they have accessible all of the recent alerts about various scams and how to counteract them. So instead of telling your parents about them, share the alerts with them as they come through. If you see an article, share it with them because, you know, that gives them a respect of learning about it on their own as opposed to being told about it by their child, you know.
And what are some of the other common scams that you're seeing?
So the phone rings. It's the middle of the night. So mom is a little disoriented. And somebody says, "Grandma?" And she says, "Is that you, Jimmy?" And they go, "Yeah, I'm in trouble. I had an accident and I'm in jail and I need bail money. Can you help me?" And she says, "Oh, Jimmy, what can I do?" And then the scammer hands the phone to another scammer who's pretending to be their attorney. And he says, "Well, ma'am, what you need to do is go to the bank and withdraw these funds, go home, put them in an envelope, and then just wait there in your home and someone will come to pick up the money." And sure enough, a car arrives and picks up the money. And that's the last they see of it. So,
and they're bold. I mean, obviously, if they're doing something like that.
And clever because they don't have to rely on grandma saying Jimmy. If they have stolen her data or looked at her social media posts, they may know quite a bit about her grandson already. So they can make it that much more believable. And it's not always that elaborate. Sometimes it's just, "Hello, Mrs. So-and-so." And then they mention that they're from a charity. That's a well-known charity, but they're not really from that charity. So it goes from the extremely creative to the pretty simple.
Wow. And is there a sucker list out there that, you know, that like, hey, these are people that we've been able, you know, is there a sucker list out there that people can kind of get put on? I know that once you make like nonprofits have, you know, some of those have, you know, like every police agency
or
same
veterans scammer kept calling your mom.
Yeah.
So
is there a list?
They do. They share this information with each other. Government agency impersonators are a big one to watch out for. You know, they'll get a notice in the mail or on their computer or something like that purports to be from a government agency. And the tell is that it's threatening. And it says, "We're from such and so. And if you do not forward the money that you're supposedly owing the government, we will prosecute you or we will arrest you."
Yeah, they're scary.
And of course, government agents don't do that. But the document can look very legitimate. It may even have like a watermark or something. So, this is a
well, they'll have
thing that you have to discuss.
Yeah, they'll sometimes have the logo. They'll have all of that. And what I've tried to teach my mom is look at the email return address and see not who it says it's from, because you can make that be whatever you want, but the actual address. And when it's a gibberish at gmail.com, you know, it's not AT&T, right? I mean, it's not.
And look for the lock symbol. Look for the lock symbol. Look for the HTTP.
Yeah.
Those things will tell
Okay.
you too.
Yeah.
So
Or just contact the agency directly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
when somebody, Kim's mom, my dad, whoever it may be, if we catch it too late and they do get scammed, what do we do?
Well, the first thing to do is call your attorney, have them freeze your parents' credit report. Because once your credit report is frozen, no one can get to it. And if mom wants to apply for a loan or a credit card, she has to unfreeze her credit report using a special PIN that she's been assigned. And then it becomes frozen again, and it stays frozen until you cancel it in writing.
Okay.
So that's a really good tool.
Yeah.
Are there any ways to really sort of scam proof our aging parents, our elderly? Is there any way to really scam proof them, or is it more just educating and kind of keeping an eye on things?
It's educating and keeping an eye on things and communicating. Like, you don't want to just sit down and try to give your parents a crash course in scams. You kind of want to do this incrementally so that, like, have a conversation with them about the good old days, how it used to be that you could do a deal on a handshake or, leave your doors unlocked. I know my parents never locked their doors. And, so if you start talking with them about that, then that opens the conversation to, there are so many scams these days. Have you heard about and just kind of keep the information flowing so that they become more and more savvy. There's no scam proofing any of us. They're very smart. We're all susceptible.
Oh, I got 2 of those delivery texts today, that said, "Hey, your delivery's been made. Click here for a prize," or "Thanks for paying your bill.
Right.
Here's a prize." So could we give just a couple of quick sort of tips of things that, like, I know a couple things that I've come up with is, one, telling my mom not to answer the phone unless it's a contact in her phone. Knowing how to potentially block a number once you feel like, okay, that's a call that came in and that was not somebody I want to talk to again. So I can block that number. Looking at the actual email address. What are some other like quick little reducing their credit limit? That's one of the things that we did too, is reduce mom's credit limit on her credit card just in case.
Yeah. So the pandemic is making it worse because since seniors are more vulnerable to the coronavirus, they're staying home more and they're isolated. And then it's the holiday season, so they're Christmas shopping. And just tell them, if you're looking for a gift and you see it, but the price seems too good to be true, it probably is. And don't try to investigate it. Don't click on it, because the moment you click on it, now they can see your passwords, your bank accounts, whatever you've got. So yeah, we're going to see a lot of that during the holidays, I believe. There's also a lot of fake coronavirus cures online these days, so don't click on those. Don't, if your computer freezes and you get a pop-up that says you have a computer problem and here's where you click for tech support, and then they go in and they access your computer.
So many.
Another one is, you have won the lottery or a foreign lottery or a sweepstakes, and you've won this pile of money, but in order to access your winnings, we're going to need your date of birth, your social security number, and a small fee. Dating sites. Seniors are isolated and they're lonely. And so these types of scammers, they're playing a long game. They're very patient. So they can go for months and months building up this online relationship and trust, until one day, 9 months, a year later, they say, I'm just dying to meet you in person. If only I had the airfare.
So frustrating. Well, and I know, as an attorney, as an estate attorney, you're, mostly spending time helping people with their wills and their trusts and all of those kinds of things. But you have really become passionate about this. Are there other things that an attorney can help us
Yes.
in dealing with this?
Yes, yes, yes. So there's the credit freeze. I believe that the best thing that an attorney can do is come up with a safety plan, help your parents design a safety plan so that um, if this does happen, they know exactly what to do and they do it as quickly as possible.
Mm-hmm.
Why the rush? Because when the attorney contacts the credit card companies and the banks, they can get some of those charges reversed and some of that money recouped, but only if it happens quickly.
Yeah.
And like, because after 60 days, it's very hard to get the money back.
Yeah, we had that happen with mom when these people created a PayPal account in her name and charged stuff, and she started getting emails about owing money, blah blah blah. And thankfully, her bank was amazing. I'm on a first name basis with her, bank branch manager, but he was able to take care of that, and we were able to set up some things in her bank account so that they couldn't have access anymore. Blah blah blah. But it's just it was we were able to get some help. But I know that some of the frustrations for people with ongoing issues, or if they become aware of a scam, even when you have all the information, when there hasn't been a crime yet committed, it's hard for the police to do anything. And I've heard from some friends that that's been really challenging, and that's probably a whole nother topic, right? I mean, but
and the police have limited ability to go after people, and they tend to concentrate on the scams that they're hearing about the most. So one particular scam that comes up once in a while, they can't really chase down them all, and then they're proliferating. So if your parents have had their identity stolen, you feel, have the attorney file an application in the state district court to have them actually declared a victim of identity theft. That's going to involve some affidavits and presenting some evidence. But once you get that order, they can then present that to government agencies or private businesses or what have you, so that the record can be corrected and they can start clearing their name.
There's just so much to know, and it just goes on and on. So this was just a start of the conversation.
Good way to start. So many good tips. Sara, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Well, I think you know where to start now with different things, but there's so many possibilities out there. That's the scary part.
So it sounds like a lot of conversations with your parents, helping to educate them, making them aware, so that, and also having them feel comfortable having conversations with you, even if they feel like they have become a victim, so that you can help and step in. And
it goes back to what we keep talking about: planning and communication.
So
ties into
important.
So many different things. Hey, if you've got any subject you'd like us to tackle, let us know here. Parenting Aging Parents.